Hey Nail Techs, part 2 of my crazy 2016 nail tech event of the Smokies story. So, if you want to see what happened in the first one or hear what happened, just go to the video right before this, me wearing this shirt. There it will be. So anyway, the next crazy thing that happened in 2016 that the nail techs attending didn't know. Oh, this was the most off-the-chain thing ever. Some people did know about it because they witnessed it happening. I was off putting out fires elsewhere in the convention center, probably in one of the classrooms helping somebody that needed help. A nail tech had told one of the vendors, one of the nail companies, took him aside, said, hey, I saw this other nail tech over there, pointed her out. She put 2 gel polishes in her bag without paying for them. So the educator in charge of that booth, she went to the lady in question who allegedly took these products, and she said, ma'am, I'm gonna need to see, your contents in your bag and your receipt. Well, with that, the nail tech, who we'll just call the thief, took off out of the convention center, running off of the show floor. Now, the educator takes off after her, screaming, thief, stop, stop. So anyway, both of them take off running. They go running past the security guard that's at the door checking wristbands. He sees this commotion going on. He leaves his station. Now he's taking off on a foot pursuit. They run out of the convention center, down the steps, all the way down the sidewalk of Gatlinburg, Tennessee, down to the corner of traffic light number 8 where Bubba Gump Shrimp is. And at that, the thief went across and went through traffic, and they had to stop, the 2 chasing her, because of the traffic. And so they saw her jump into this car in the parking lot of this crappy motel that's not there any longer, and she took off. So the security guard goes to the motel manager, and he recognizes him and knows him because he is a police officer on the Gatlinburg, Tennessee police force. He was out of uniform because he was now a guard at the show. So by law, they could not tell him who this woman was. He got her license plate and whatnot. So he had to call for backup. Backup comes with patrol car and, uniformed police officers. So the hotel manager takes them up to her motel room, and as they're about to put the key in the lock to open it and access it, she opens the door and is coming out with a big bag full of stolen nail products. They immediately arrest her. They make her pop her trunk of her car and what have you. Whole trunk just filled with nail products. She'd been apparently going from different show to different show, stealing things and then reselling them. So they took her away to jail, and they found weed in her car, so they impounded her car. And so I really didn't find out how all this ended, other than during that time, one of my helpers that helps me run the show, he had to, when the police came, showed him the photos that they took of what was in the trunk and the bag and everything. He had to take them from booth to booth because they were identifying these products, So they had to go to that booth and show the people working the booth what was stolen. And one of them was like, oh my God, that light, that UV light in the photo, it had the same serial number as one that was reported stolen down at the Orlando show. So she had been making her way up and down the coast, going and stealing. So anyway, she got hauled off to jail. I'd heard that she spent many days there because she couldn't post bond. So the next year when I go to do the next show, luck would have it, that's the same security guard there. So I said, hey, how did it all end, He said, and this was so fabulous, I still laugh. He said, well, she didn't bond out for quite some time, and then when she finally did, because of the amount of weed they found in her vehicle, they impounded it, sold it at auction, and the money went to benefit the anti-drug campaign of the Gatlinburg, Tennessee police force. And so she was due back in court for court hearings, which she then skipped. So she lives in Atlanta. And so if she ever steps foot back in Tennessee again and gets pulled over for any reason, she will be hauled off to jail to do her sentence of whatever it's gonna be for skipping her hearing. Months, maybe, about a year and a half, maybe, year and a half after all that had transpired, I was in a nail tech chat group in Facebook, and I'm in like scads of them, and I saw her posting, and now I didn't say a bloody word. I never ratted her out. I never told anybody her name. They could have gone on to the Gatlinburg, Tennessee arrests and seen her if they wanted to. Well, she was on there complaining about how she had gone to a woman's home and did all these services on her, and her bratty kids were like causing problems, and it was a mess, and it took longer, yada yada. And then when the whole thing was done, the lady didn't want to pay what they had agreed that she would pay her, and so she had to settle for less, and she was bitterly disappointed. And I just sat back and go, ah, karma. I loved it. It was most fabulous. That was my other crazy story. Peace out, nail techs. Be back with another crazy story in the future.